Hey guys, Gus here, and this is just a quick video on paintbrushes. So, the first thing I'm going to go through really quickly is you've got a whole bunch of different kinds of brushes, okay? You've got round, flat, fan brushes, angle brushes, all sorts, but really, three kinds that are applicable in miniature painting are your round brush, which is something like that. Your riggers brushes, which have much longer bristles. I mean, this is almost like a riggers brush, kind of in between the two. I mean, a traditional round brush, you're looking at something, sort of along those lines. Okay, so really round riggers, and then your sort of flat brushes, so things like that. Okay, so those are the three that are really applicable. Now, when it comes to brushes, this is significant because round brushes are generally your staple. Obviously, flat brushes have different uses, and your riggers brushes with the longer bristles are useful for painting like long, flat lines. I mean, that's where they get the name riggers brush from. Is from when artists used to do the pictures of paintings of ships. They used to paint the actual rigging in the painting with the riggers brushes because that's what they use for painting like thin lines. Anyway, so with your brush then, basic brush anatomy, you've got the bristles, you've got the ferrule, okay, and you've got the handle. Nice and simple. Okay, so generally when you're painting, you want to keep paint out of the ferrule, okay, because as soon as you start getting paint up at the end of the bristles into the ferrule, you really mess your paintbrush up. That's why I like the ones with the longer bristles, as you'll find out in a minute, because you don't tend to get the paint going into the ferrule and messing your brush up. Okay, brilliant. So with the brushes then, the kinds of brushes I like to use, I mean, you've got you've all probably gone through the Citadel brushes. Fine. Now, a word on these. Okay, a lot of people like to use Sable brushes. Now, Citadel advertises their brushes on the website as Sable. Ha! Bit of a trick to this because you only have to have a certain percentage of sable hair in the brush in order to be able to advertise it as Sable. So funny enough, Citadel only have about 30%, which is the bare minimum they need to be able to advertise it as Sable, and the rest of their brush is synthetic. So these brushes are not great. I tend to use these for things like dry brushing, for sort of the sort of duties that are going to mess your paintbrush up. I use Citadel brushes for. Then you've got the complete opposite end of the spectrum. You're looking at your sort of Kolinsky Series 7 Fine Sable, which I'm sure that you've also heard of before. And these are predominantly red sable hair from the male sable, which is much better quality. But these are very expensive. Okay, I think you're looking at about £10, just over £10, £11 for a size 1 brush. So they're quite expensive. So what I like to go for is something in between. So it's still 100% sable, but it's not male sable hair necessarily. But they are extremely good brushes, and this is what I go for. I go for the ProArte Renaissance Sable series, which are made in England. And these are really great brushes. I normally just use a size 1 for almost everything. Okay, and as you can see, they've got quite long bristles, which is nice, so you don't end up with the paint in the actual ferrule. Okay, and they are excellent brushes. Now you may think, oh yeah, well, what do I need a good quality brush for? Well, as soon as in the next couple of videos, I'm going to go through various techniques that will underpin my videos that I will actually do, the actual painting tutorial videos, and you'll see why it's important. One of the reasons is it comes down to actual the molecular bonding between the paint and the bristles, and the way that the bristles actually loose that bond and they wick paint off the bristles. Sable hair is much better than synthetics. Okay. And it's not particularly apparent when you do things like blending and highlighting and dry brushing. However, when you start going into advanced techniques using very thin down paints, where you need the paint to move in a very specific way off of the bristles and onto the piece that you're working on, it becomes very important, and there is a pronounced difference. Okay, the quality of brush is pronounced. So quality of brush is important. Quick one now on brush care. I like to use this, which is a brush cleaner you can get off Amazon. And it's very easy to use. You simply wet your brush and you swirl it around the inside, and it makes sort of a lather, and then you simply wash it off, and it looks after your brushes, cleans all the acrylic paint off, strips all the acrylic paint off. And just one more quick point, when I paint, I tend to use, I'll just move the camera here, I tend to use two water pots. So one will be dirtier than the other one. So I'll rinse in one first, and then the other one, and then I'll take the brush out. So you'll notice this one's obviously cleaner. I haven't changed it in a while. So I tend to use two water pots. I tend to use that cleaner I've just mentioned, and I tend to use that brand of brushes. And I find that works very well for when I'm painting my miniatures. So that was a quick video on paintbrushes. Hope you enjoyed it. Take care.